I see a better Africa.
I don't know about you and you, but I see a better Africa with no pain, a better Africa with love and peace, better Africa with justice and
Europeans, for the Americans, to come and address your challenges. What you are doing is sitting together as a church and doing nothing about it. We are having conferences as churches and doing nothing about the challenges that are right in front of us that require resolve. How relevant are we when we know that we are drinking sewage water coming out of City of Harare, that our children are dying of typhoid, are dying of diarrhea? Who is there providing the water solutions for City of Harare? Who is here providing solution for road construction? But we are waiting for Group 5 from South Africa to complete our road from Harare to South Africa, because we are doing what? We are constantly complaining about our government. We are constantly complaining about how things are not going so well in this country. We're constantly complaining about the situations and not necessarily doing something about them. I like to say, small minds, average minds, discuss people. That's what we like to do. We like to discuss people. In fact, if you are a small mind, what you like to do is to discuss people. Average minds discuss events. If you are a small mind, you are more interested in what did Mainingi do on number 42C. That's your interest. You're more interested in what has Jinimbi done, what has Pokero done. That's when you know you are a small mind. If you are an average mind, you are interested in an event. So you're more interested in, so what happened today? Where is the red today? Right? Average mind. Great minds are interested in the idea. So what do I do now that I've heard this? Now that there's a currency problem, I challenge all of you who are sitting here, don't be a small mind. Don't discuss people. Don't be an average mind. Don't discuss events. Be the great mind that is waking up every morning and saying, right, what solutions am I going to proffer for my church, for my country, for my family? How can I make my community and my neighborhood a little bit better than when I woke up yesterday? That's how we change this country. That's how we change our communities. That's how we change our world. That's how we change our families. We don't change our families by the number of times we sit on a fence and gossip. We don't change our world by the number of times we complain on Facebook or on Twitter. We change our country by the number of times we are looking for solutions of making things a little bit better than what we found. That is my call to you. And that is what I believe makes us a better people. That is what I believe really should catapult us to the next level. There are some young people here who are doing amazing things. Just go to the last one. Young people in this country doing amazing things. I've given you some examples of them. Sometimes you think that the examples that we have to give have to come from Mark Zuckerberg or have to come from somewhere outside the world. But there are people who are sitting here today, who are sitting next to you, who are like these young people who are here, who wake up with the determination to be different, to be better, no matter your circumstances, no matter where you were born, no matter where you come from, no matter your circumstances. Everybody had a difficult past. I can tell you, everybody, including me, have used a newspaper for tissue paper at some point. All of us have had challenges when we were growing up. Sometimes we need to stop with the pity party of what brings us or what does not allow us to achieve the things that we want to achieve, and focus a lot more on those that we can achieve. If you are that person who believes that something cannot be done, my call for you is please make way for those who believe that something can be done, or for those who are willing to do something about it. There are some people, I hope it's not someone who is sitting or sitting next to you, who have a problem for every solution. So if you tell them that there is something that I want to do, they will tell you 30,000 reasons why it can't be done. Or they're going to tell you how you are going to fail, and how whatever you are going to do is something that has never been done by anywhere else in the world. My last call to you is, whatever you decide that you want to do, you need to do it. It has nothing to do with the fact that you are young, you are old. It has nothing to do with the fact that you have a pot belly or not. You can still come from Angamvura with a bald head and a shiny determination like me, and still be CEO or Bank ABC. I just wanted to just leave you with this thought, with this process, that whatever you do, you need to have the passion, you need to have the perseverance. You also don't have to have the perseverance of really refusing no for an answer, and making sure that you are standing up and believing in one person before others believe in you, believing in yourself, and believing that you can become, and that you are going to be the next Strive Masio, the next Max Zuckerberg, because nobody else can tell you anything different. So whatever you do, do good by you. When you're done, please try and do good by others. These are just my little 2 cents. And I hope that I've left something in your spirit that allows you to go to the next level and glorify God with us, with how amazing He is working into your life, because you're walking in faith and also in practice of the principles that He has instilled in your pastor, in the people who speak to you, and in you as a human being. Those are my 2 cents. Thank you very much for coming.
A better Africa.
We usually face some challenges. We have ideas, we have these great ideas that we have. But I've experienced time, as I say, our mindset sometimes is fully has to be. So how do we shift, or how do we change our mindset to be very productive in this harsh economic system that we have in Zimbabwe? And sometimes when you study a project, for example, people would say, it was that, and it will then dilute your mindset to think that what people are saying is true, but it can't be done. How do we then address that challenge your mindset, our thinking as young people? I can confirm, I think we said something about you need to do it. Whatever you think, you need to do it. I make Swiss on my own. But when I started making Swiss, people say, the Amazon, lollipop, but today here, I'm holding this Swiss. I'm making this Swiss on my own. I don't have a machine, it's manual. So I think also, I want to thank you by confirming what I've been experiencing. Thank you.
This is a moment that we are now in, a moment of inspiration, the moment like you can just face the world and do everything. But how do you maintain this momentum? Because this is just a moment that we are in. Right now when I go back home, there is no Zesa. When I go back home, I will face their challenges and problems. how do I maintain a moment like this one? Then my other question now is, when you've got a lot of ideas, usually it's not all of your ideas that sell. How do you identify as an individual that this is the one? That you can't be a jack of all trades, but you have to find something and run with it. Maybe if you can answer for me that one. How do I maintain a moment like this one in the midst of these circumstances? And how do I really identify that this is the idea for me that can sell? Thank you.
This is my cry. I think the biggest culprits we have who are discouraging us so much is young people are our parents. Because after this kind of presentation, I'm feeling ready to go and live my dream. I will meet my parent who will tell me that you cannot do that because in the dream ukubhadhara school fees kurugara kwamapama. Kana uchida kuita zvauri kuita ende unoziita kana wakugara kwako. So at the end of the day, I'm now pursuing their dream upon my life, not what I really want to do. So I really think that this kind of information is also required for our parents so that they don't keep forcing us to live in the past when we have a future.
What you said is really, really good. That we all need to carry ourselves through the process of transformation. But as parents, ourselves as children, of course, we have to be respectful to our parents, because they are our parents. Even if they are still in the past, or their thinking is in the past, you still need to respect your parents. And we need to make sure that we are taking through. It's not only our parents, I can tell you. It's the same thing in any organization. Maybe you are a young manager, and you have a thought or an idea that your superior believes will not work. You need to make sure that you're finding the way of communicating through them and pushing through your thought process until you are happy. There are many ways of doing so, and you need to be respectful in doing so. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but you cannot be disrespectful in the process. You need to make sure that you're doing the best that you can. But I like your call that if the transformation has to come, it has to come from our parents, it has to come from all of us, it has to come from our mindset of changing the future, changing you, changing your children, or changing the people who are going to be responsible in your way. With time, it will become a thing of the past. It will become something that we are more as a people. That was a good question about purpose, I think. I think you asked about how do I know the one thing. The one thing. How do I establish? I want you to give you a reference. You like reading? I want to give you a reference to a book that's called The One Thing. That's the title of the book. It's called The One Thing. I can't remember the author. But what the author advocates is that when we are growing up, in many instances, we like, and I like this thing, and I hear this throughout all young people. And I was young once. I'm still youngish, but I was young once. I hear this amongst a lot of young people, that I'm waiting to discover my purpose. Now, purpose is not discovered. God is not going to come from heaven singing, hallelujah, hallelujah, you are going to be the greatest banker of all time, or that you are going to be the greatest singer of all time. It's not going to happen. You will wait forever. But purpose cannot be discovered. Purpose is created. So the way you create your purpose is that you identify the one thing that you believe you want to be good at. Then you put in the hours to become good at that one thing. There are some people who are born with talent, but I can tell you, and I'll ask you this question. One typical example. All of us who were growing up, if that one person in Form 3B or in Grade 7 yellow, who used to be number one, right? Number one in every class, in every exam. In many instances, if you look back at that number one kid, they are not necessarily the most successful in the world. The reason is because talent can only take you so far. What takes you to the next level is talent, determination, and hard work. If you combine those three, and I always like to give the examples of young people who were not necessarily talented, but who actually chose their one thing, stuck with it, did their 10,000 hours, and eventually became world-class beaters. And it's easy for me to give you examples of sports people. If you look at people like Serena Williams, greatest tennis player of all times, started hitting the ball at age what? 7. So in many instances, the world lies to us that in that we want to see the end result of a thing. We don't want to see the sacrifice that is going in the end result. So if you see me here, I can tell you it's easy to admire where I am, but it's very difficult for you to put yourself through the sacrifice of what I've gone through. So if you want to be successful, you need to understand the sacrifice that the successful person that you admire has gone through. So if you meet somebody you admire, you don't learn from their success, you learn from their sacrifice. You learn by asking them, what did you do to get here? That's why the world is so messed up. That our young people, our young ladies, are attracted a lot more by the fact that I drive a nice car. And they are willing to jump into the nice car and enjoy the nice car for that moment. Or the fact that I can buy, or somebody can buy you a cell phone, without understanding the sacrifice of getting to the nice car. If you understand that sacrifice, you can own 10 nice cars yourself. Then you don't have to be a small house to anybody. Because in your process, in your journey, you understand what it takes for you to get there, and not necessarily how to get there. So identify one thing, live, that's how you find your purpose. Identify one thing, put in the hard work, have the determination, work your other side of the body off. Once you do so, I believe that you are going to discover what you are good at. If you are not, everybody can be good at anything. If with enough determination, with enough courage, with enough hard work, and with enough, really just enough hours until you have become a world beater. There is somebody, I follow a team called Manchester United. I'll give you this example. There is somebody in Manchester United that has come, shut up, stop it. There's somebody in the world, in Manchester United, who is called David Beckham. Have you ever heard of David Beckham? David Beckham is not the most talented footballer in the world, at all. But we remember David Beckham for one thing, free kicks. Because David Beckham woke up, the legend has it that he would wake up and go to training 2 hours before his teammate would come in. He would practice one thing, how to take a free kick. So he would take 200, 300, 1,000 free kicks until he was the best free kicker in the world. Because he chose to be there 2 hours before his teammates were there. So when we look at David Beckham, we see his end result, right? He scored a free kick. We don't know that he's woken up a couple of hours before, and that is taking 10,000 free kicks. So if I were to leave you with anything is, if you find somebody you admire, if you find somebody you want to be your mentor, you are going to learn more from their sacrifice than you do from their success. Don't admire their success. You don't learn anything from success. You learn something from how a person has become successful, or the sacrifice they made to become successful.
A better Africa.
A better Africa is imminent. It's unavoidable. It's unstoppable.